welcome to Meet Your Toastmaster podcast. I am your host, Toastmaster Neomal from Foreigner and Giant Toastmasters Club. Today, I have a very special guest from Kuliapitia Toastmasters Club, a well-known personality in Toastmaster fraternity and outgoing and helpful Toastmaster. An engineer by profession, let me introduce my good friend Toastmaster Sarah Masood. Hi Sarah.
Hi Newman, how are you?
So it's our pleasure to bring you into our broadcast session today. Now here goes the first question. Lot of people say that engineering field is bit challenging and not many women are favored into engineering. So I will ask you this question. So what brought you into engineering? Is there is any special reason? Oh, we would like to hear it from you.
Yes, Newman, that's a very good question. So, do you like to help people and do you like to solve questions for other people? So, this is something that is a very common characteristic in engineers. So just like all engineers, I too want to help people and I also want to solve the problems as much as I can. So, I identified that I have this characteristic and I thought either I should become a doctor or an engineer. But when I become an engineer, not like a doctor, I get to solve very different problems, like the world problems, like even the things that are used by the people, including doctors, are most of the time designed by engineers. So imagine that you get the chance to solve problem that will help people to live a better life. That would be my life purpose. So I decided to study engineering.
Wow, very inspiring. I'm pretty sure all the girls in this audience, you can take her word as your inspiration when you are choosing your career. Always challenge yourself, follow your dreams. Thank you, Sarah. Let's move into the next question. So I know that you have been working in our country's only coal plant, Norachale power plant. So how was your experience and what was your role when you were working at that plant? Just tell.
Yes, Newman. When I selected, actually, I chose to work at the power plant as my first job in CEB. And then some people told me, are you out of your mind? It's a very difficult place to work. There are so many men there. You won't be able to work there. So I took the challenge. When somebody says I can't do something, I really want to go and do that and prove them that they're wrong. So I decided to go with my choice. And first of all, I worked there as an operations engineer in the operations unit for like 1.5 years. Then I got the opportunity to join the newly established condition monitoring unit. So condition monitoring is just like being a doctor, but for the equipment. You check their parameters, their temperatures, and things like that, and timely give them the required medicine, something like that. And next, after nearly 5 years in condition monitoring unit, a new unit was established for managing outages or what you call the maintenance periods. So I was interested. As always, I wanted to face the challenges. So again, I joined the shutdown maintenance unit. And after like 1 year, I had to, due to personal reasons, leave the coal power plant and come to my hometown for a different position. But not like the people who said that it's going to be a difficult place for a lady, especially. I found Lakucha coal power plant or what you call Norachole coal power plant one of the best places to work in CEB and also in the country.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of fond memories while you were working at that plant, and also you treasure that experience and make it as an investment for your future endeavors. Now, let's talk more about this one. Now, as a normal layman, would you mind explaining us how actually those people do that coal power plant generate electricity? Can you please explain it to our audience about the process and much in a simplified manner? Okay.
Yes. So I'll share my screen just to quickly give an idea about the coal power plant. Is that okay? So this is the coal power plant's process. Can you see my cursor here? So this is where the coal is supplied. So I am in my virtual background, I am seen looking at the sea. So it's not actually the sea, but it's where the coal comes to the power plant, the jetty. So the coal will come to the power plant by ships, and from the ships, they are brought to close to the jetty by barges. They are smaller than ships. And then the coal is taken from conveyor belts to the crushers where they are crushed and further crushed into a fine powder. And this powder mixed with air will be sent into the boiler. The boiler here, and the boiler will combust that coal and create heat. And that heat will heat up water and produce steam from water. And the steam will rotate a turbine, a steam turbine. And just like the dynamo we learned when we are small, the steam turbine is connected to an electrical generator, and the electrical generator produces electricity as a result. So this is the basic operation of the coal power plant. So we also need water, and we get water from the sea, and we use a big reverse osmosis plant to change the water from salty water to the water that we want. So this is something very simple operation process of the coal power plant. I hope you understood.
Yes, madam. I understood. I thanks a lot for that your explanation with the illustration. I am pretty sure that will be helpful for all the members in the audience also. Now let me play the devil's part here. I remember there were so many controversies about this coal power plant, especially in Oracholi. There were people protesting, and there were some articles. Some people are arguing not suited for Sri Lanka. So, as a professional, what do you have to tell about this? And what's your explanation? And is this true? Is it not good enough for Sri Lanka, or are there is a scientific explanation on that one? Or what is your opinion on this one? Would you mind share some light on us?
Yes, but just like any developing country, our country is also developing. So we cannot afford all the energy sources that the developed countries like Germany or USA and Japan are affording. But we have to first go for the lowest cost option for generating electricity. And I would like to tell you, coal is the next cheapest thing to water. Of course, like every development project has its own impacts, negative and positive. So the coal power plant also has some impacts which can be controlled and mitigated. So let me share. This is the measures that a coal power plant, including Oracholi, has taken to control the negative impacts. First of all, when coal is burned, it creates ash. One is fly ash, other thing is bottom ash. Bottom ash is collected at the bottom of the boiler, and it is carried away, and it can be used to so many things like bricks, producing bricks, and also fly ash. Fly ash is a very important uh, thing that we use to produce cement, and it has been also now found to be useful in producing certain type of blocks like cement blocks, concrete blocks for building high-rise buildings. So after all, coal is not bad because of this ash, and now the ash problem is much controlled. And the other things that come as an output or byproduct of coal power is the emissions. or the flue gas that goes out of the chimney, as you can see here. But we have measures to control them. There is something called an ESP, electrostatic precipitator. It collects the fly ash and it carries away the fly ash to a separate area. So the flue gas is now free of fly ash. Next, we send the flue gas inside a device called flue gas desulfurizer. This removes the sulfur in the flue gas. And we always monitor the emissions by using monitoring devices to ensure they are within the standards given to us by the environmental authority. And as for the other parameter that is negative, NOx or nitrogen oxide, our boiler is burning coal at a very high temperature. So this nitrogen oxide is not produced as we have low NOx burners or burners that don't produce NOx. So we have all the measures here, like the ESP, the FGD, and the low NOx burners, and we also use this fly ash and bottom ash to produce a certain type of brick. So I think more than negative impacts, I think we have positive outcome from the coal power plant. And this is a type of brick that is produced from coal ash, fly ash brick, and bottom ash is also used in that. I think that it is very good to know that it is lightweight. It doesn't weigh much like the solid concrete block, but it has high strength and it is pleasing in color, and it's also sustainable for the environment.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sara. I think that is a very comprehensive answer. You did not suggest or actually implied that which one is more suited, but you talked about the advantages and how this kind of a plant can help a country like that. I think that is a very good answer. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have learned a lot about, even I learned a lot about the process of a coal plant. So moving into that, our final question for the day. Now let's talk about, as a woman, you have been in this engineering field. I am pretty sure it must be a challenging for you to work with the male engineers, and as a girl, you have to face different experience. I'm pretty sure that story is also itself is a very special one for you. So why don't you share some of your experience? What were the challenges? How did you overcome those challenges? I'm pretty sure that will be helpful for our audience also. Just share some of your experience with us, and what's your advice for the aspiring women, lady engineers in our future?
That is the most important question I have had in a while. I think engineering is not only for men. It's a common misconception that the society thinks only male can do certain things, but in truth, there is a lot of contribution or input that a woman can give into the society as an engineer. For example, in family, who takes care of the others most? Is the mother or the sister sometimes. So just like that, when it comes to serving, most of the time, females have a more wider picture or a more caring aspect towards the society. So instead of stereotyping, we should think that women also have a huge impact when they become engineers in the society. Also, there's this story about the safety belt and the safety bags produced in our motor cars. I read somewhere and heard somewhere as well that it was improved because of the input of lady engineers. Because when it comes to babies or sometimes pregnant women, you have to consider them as well. So the design of this airbag was improved because of an input by ladies. Similarly, so I believe that what I have to give to the society as an engineer has a great difference, makes all the difference, including the males. It is a different input, but it is an essential input. And let me share something more very interesting. Uh, so this is me at my previous workplace, the coal power plant. And in the center picture, I'm inside the generator during a low maintenance, inspecting it. And on the last picture, this is where I won an award as the IET Young Woman Engineer. So the purpose of winning that award was to inspire more and more ladies to come and join engineering. And moving forward, can you see this picture? In this picture, the top one is the IESL Puttalam District Center, where I am the only lady. And again below, this is a training that I participated in, where I was again the only lady. But it makes all the difference. When a lady joins the force, it adds color more than anything. It adds color, it adds the warmth, it adds creativity, it adds so many elements that only just male participation won't add. So to the ladies, I want to tell, don't think twice when you want to follow engineering, study engineering, or go beyond that as a scientist or researcher. Don't worry about what the society says, what the people will say, what others says. Close your eyes and decide for yourself. Is this what you want to do? Then go do it.
Wow, what an inspiring story, Zara. Actually, that itself it tells you even if you have challenges, if you have a will, you can overcome whatever the path you select. As you have mentioned, we should not typecast into stereotyping. You have your will, you have your liberty, you have your freedom, you have to follow your dreams. Then that way, in the end, you will be able to achieve whatever you want and the success in your life. Thank you very much for spending your valuable time with us today. We really enjoyed your session here.
Thank you very much.